iPhone improperly. Fun fact, I forgot. I started streaming like an hour and a half ago, and just a second straight up. Yeah, so I started streaming like an hour and a half back, and I forgot to start streaming. My OBS did record it, but it's horrible because there is no audio. There's something wrong with my OBS recording. There's no audio. But I don't want to lose the cool factor of it, so I'm just going to make it full screen and play a little bit of it. Okay. I can have. I can go to the pumped and all those parts where I was looking at code, fighting AI, crying with AI, and all this stuff. And just. That's about it. I don't know why I did this. Let's play music. I don't know why I was doing this. Alright. So I've been like coding for like an hour plus, and now that I'm finally streaming, I feel like opening X. Amazing. I honestly don't even remember my password. That is the right password. Okay. This is Chromium based, right? Yeah. Why are they so slow? I don't know. It was just too slow. I had to do that. I just wanted to show you what I just did. Yeah, I'm not gonna pay 4,000 rupees a year for a tick mark. Yeah, so this is what happened to me. Yeah, my eyes are literally this side. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. I'm gonna play some music. Okay, then I'm gonna go to the code and I'm gonna just go through everything that I did in the last hour and a half and everything that I undid with that AI had done. So I'm just gonna go through stuff. Before that, let's just for a little background. What all have we been working on? Right. So we've been working on this thing, which is basically our own Hosho, which is gonna be like Sentry, but it's supposed to be lightweight. Where I'm gonna host it on workers, and of course it will be open source, and you can host it on your own workers, right? And it's like 3 pieces. There's the extension, which is taking the browser, collecting the browser logs and network har, and it's going to just emit that to our ingester, which has a few endpoints to get the har and logs and the console logs basically. And it's going, I'll probably rename it to console so that I have a different terminology, right? Yeah, and then it's going to just transform that, understand what's happening there, and create meaningful logs, metrics, and traces. We'll look at profiling maybe later because we do have timing information, but I think right now, no, I'm not really looking at profiling. Traces is good enough for timing. Profiling would be the call side, and this is not relevant. Yeah, so I'm going to generate, I'm going to send the console logs as is to open telemetry. I'm going to have custom metrics generated from those logs, and the traces are basically the request started, payload, headers came in, there could be get sockets, right? So those things are traces, and yeah, I don't even know how that data is represented in har and how I'm going to process it. Codex is going to help us there. I fought with codex for an hour, so we have something decent and we have some crap to clean up. Okay, so yeah, so this is the thing we are building. So the second component is this. This emits to open telemetry. Now, generally, when you emit something to open telemetry, the way it works is you have your application logic, you have a library like tracing, or if you're in a Python world, you have Pydantic tracing, which is like a high-level, nice-to-use kind of library. Even Rust tracing is pretty good that way, where you can just do tracing.info or tracing.with span, start a closure and write something in there. So it basically converts your code base, code blocks, and maps that to traces in otel, right? Logs is basically a system out logs that go there, right? The application can directly send logs to this thing, but I generally prefer just using standard system out and collecting the logs from Kubernetes generally for backend. But again, here we're just going to use console log. And metrics, I'm going to create custom metrics, right? Like 2x axis and like the timings, and we can have some gauge metrics, some counter metrics. So that's what we're going to create. So that is the ingester part. This is probably the exporter, but I think ingester is fine because I'm going to have multiple things under that. And the third thing is the LGTM stack. Now the way I want this to be is, so I'm running the backend as a Cloudflare worker, so I cannot have LGTM stack there. This is not an option, right? So instead what I want is I want the LGTM stack. If you look at it, it's just Grafana and LTM, right? So LTM you can take open telemetry, probably connected through Alloy or something, and it dumps it to S3 basically, and then Grafana can. And it takes it back from S3 also. It basically backs up to S3, but it has its own state. And Grafana talks to these guys in order to read the stuff and visualize the stuff, right? So these things are going to run locally, okay, as it is. So that's going to be it. I'm thinking we can go one of two ways. Either we can have our own data source, custom data source, but that's not something that we should be doing. I think what I should be doing is the Cloudflare worker is going to have a Loki compatible data source. It's going to be a data source which is going to read from S. So I'm basically building Loki, but it's not distributed. It's just mimicking the API. So Grafana thinks that our thing is Loki. Okay, and we're going to back up to R2. This is one direction I can go. Or the other direction is we dump to S3 in a format that Loki would understand, and then have a local Loki instance pick it up and show it in Grafana. That's another way, right? So another thing I did was simple. So Grafana, what are you talking about? Doesn't matter right now. I remember setting this up, but whatever. Anyway, so I have this running. Grafana has this image called otel LGTM. It's an all-in-one simple image that, see, has been up for an hour already. So it's a simple image, but it has everything built in. So literally, I can send traces to localhost. I think 4318 is the HTTP endpoint, right? 4318 is the HTTP endpoint. 17 is gRPC, if I'm not wrong. What's happening? Whatever, I mean, we'll figure that out. The port is probably not exposed. It should be exposed, network host. So yeah, so this has, if I just quickly go to data sources, we already have the data sources built into that one image, so it makes experimenting very easy, right? We have this stuff, and if you go to drill down, there are also some metrics. I don't think these are dummy metrics, or these are actually these are actually coming from, I think, it's a metrics of things running within that image, right? We have order collectors, memory, runtime, we have all this information, and you can drill down on it further. Grafana is just amazing. So we have this, right? This is going to be our, where we want our metrics in the end, okay? And we are doing that for front end, right? So I'll now go through the code base. AI did something, I asked it to remove something, it did something bad again, I asked it to remove something again, then I wrote some code, I asked AI to add on to it, it broke something. Long story short, let's go through what we have. Alright, so I start with, of course, the front end, which is our extension, right? So that's where our thing starts. So in our extension, of course, we have the manifest where you have the extension config within the oil keybind doesn't work sometimes. Anyways, so whatever, right? After a while, our things reach this thing called app.js, which has functions to start create the panel, Hosho panel. Again, these things are there in the previous parts. Basically, what we've done is we have this. I don't think it's. I guess X works. Yes, we have this thing which like emits some stuff, right? And it already. So this UI that you see here for Hosho, this is a custom UI that's part of the extension, right? So we have the panel and we have some things like the base endpoints and something that we've configured here. So we have, again, this endpoint is wrong. I don't know why I changed it back. It's interface/console. I'll change it to console log. Yeah, and 8787 is where my worker runs locally. I'll get to that. It's going to be the Cloudflare worker endpoint, actually. Right, HTTPS and all built in. Amazing. Alright, cool. And then this is where our main stuff lies. We're capturing the network, the console. There's this eval that happens where this event listener is added on when anything comes to our console. So whenever we have log, debug, any of these things, it essentially evaluates some stuff and calls this endpoint. It calls the send.json function, and it basically calls our log endpoint, right? Send.json is a okay. I don't think I've set up a JavaScript same thing for network capture. So we have this har payload we've configured. We don't care about, so har in Chrome, right, is essentially a summary of the network tab. So it includes like things like what tab it came from, what JavaScript file the thing was invoked from, line numbers. It has too much details, right? So we don't want that. So I just care about the request and the response and the timing, right? We have started at duration, etc. How long did SSL take? How long these things are going to be converted to traces, right? So we have that. Then we have headers are converted to map, right? So that we, like, kidding me, every language has functional. Who's saying functional is not mainstream? We already have like default immutability coming into languages like Rust and all, and we have immutable things, and then there's functional chains basically in every language. I was recently interviewing somebody who was using Java, so they have like this strategy comparators. You literally have like dot comparing, dot then comparing, dot then comparing. So they can like implement complex rule engines and task management systems. Opus can one-shot them basically. New Java is actually not bad. So every language has this. It's crazy nowadays. So yeah, that's our extension. That's the front end. This is the UI, by the way. Sorry, not this one. This is the UI, by the way. That you should see over there, right? So I'm just gonna add something like forget it. All right. So now let's go to the actual meat of the system, which is a Cloudflare worker. So we have a few dependencies. I added open telemetry dependencies, or I rather had codex add because of the versions and features. I think it has added this feature called HTTP proto, which is something that is interesting. Because what we want is, we want to dump the thing directly. Maybe that's where it came from. And logs, metric space things that we want, right? And OpenTelemetry SDK is the actual interface that we're going to use to send in this thing, traces. Telemetry. Okay, this is good. We have the dependencies. Now let's go to our this thing. So it starts with this librs, which is a fetch function. That's the entry point the Cloudflare worker calls. And we have an Axum like router, which is coming from worker, I believe. No, sorry. Router is my package. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is Axum router. So we have some endpoints, we have probes and ingester. We'll go to the ingester. Let's go to har. Oh, this is already console. Okay, so this is fine. Let's go to the ingest har function and let's see what's happening there. I'll probably make it a little bigger. Okay, so in ingest har, we are doing send trace har.0. is it r.0? R payload. Okay, we'll come to the handlers later. Okay, before we move ahead, the prelude I have, so by the way, standard error is a library that I'm using. So generally, when you build HTTP servers in Rust, you end up either defining your own errors, all the enums and all of the implementation, all of the error trait implementations, right? Or you just end up using anyhow, right? Instead, what I did is I did all that implementation once, and it's designed specifically for HTTP. Like, it can be used for non-HTTP as well. It does have a display trait, so you could implement more traits on it. I could add more features to it. So I'm majorly the only user for it right now, and there are a few packages at my previous company that use it internally, but I'm pretty sure those will be deprecated. So I'm probably the only user right now, but it's actually a really good library. Let me do a shameful plug here and go to create SIO standard error. So this is a library that. What's wrong with you, Ferris? What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Okay, everything has a downtime nowadays. Okay, so it's a sweet library. What it does is I'll create a separate video going through how it's implemented. It's not too hard; it's pretty straightforward. But what it lets you do essentially is, so whenever you are implementing errors in Rust, right? Rust has this beautiful thing called result. I will go through the details later, right? But TLDR, I'm assuming you know Rust at this point. TLDR, we have our result, and we want to do question mark propagation, error propagation everywhere. And generally, when you are interacting with databases or when you're interacting with anything, you end up having to implement a conversion between that error and your custom error trait, or anyhow. I don't know if anyhow handles it, or maybe, right. So you have to do that, and then you have to do yeah, and then you basically get an HTTP error. Then again, you probably have to handle the error and return a JSON response to the user. So instead, what I do here is one. So you can configure errors like this. You can have error codes, and you can have error messages for each error code in various languages, support internationalization. And apart from that, this is fine. This is just a nice to have, right? You add this, and you return an error like this. Right, standard error 007, and the user gets a nice JSON with the error code. That's a simple use case. But the true value of this library, I don't know what is this UX, by the way. Everything is great. There's only one small slip that is the website, but sure, whatever. The internet is weird nowadays. Maybe zooming in helps. Yeah, dude. Maybe this helps. Alright, so it lets you do two cool things, right? One is anything that's common. So if you look at the features here, I don't know if it shows it somewhere. The features are basically like database or the VCS, Git2RS, or any of the common things that you use, right? Whether it's Redis, all of those errors are already converted, and there are already error codes within the library for those errors. So you could always override the messages, but those are already handled. So if you just write a XM handler and you basically do something where there's an error from the database, the user will just get the JSON. Right? You can always have a custom error, but if you don't do anything, if you just propagate question mark all the way to the end, user gets a JSON, right? And then if it's your custom error, you can always return this error, and then you can, of course, like there are traits on it where you can do a custom status code. You could even do dot interpolate errors, interpolate values. If you see, this has variables, right? Interpolations, it will do that. And then there is even this thing called dot template, which is basically if you're doing a schema, if you're returning an schema template, if you're doing full stack development, then the error case can still be on a schema page. This is beautiful library. It's a shameless plug. The only excuse I used to talk about it is that I'm doing this. I have a preload which I usually do this when I have a result in preload, so that I don't have to worry about the box time error or anything like that. So then let's go to the handlers. So right now, if we look at my hand probes, probably they are returning this thing. So I'll change this now to I'll do use create preload result and make this a result. Yeah, that's it, right? So I can already do question marks with just that. So I'm going to do the same for our ingestion handlers here, right? Instead of returning a string. I don't know what these are doing, so I'm not going to touch these right now. Let's get to the handlers and figure out. So I have this create code called exporter, which is basically, again, I started with spec. This was all AI. I'm going to spec. So spec is basically going to have the type information. So har is what we're getting from the browser. We have all these things, right? So let's go through them quickly. So we have the har payload, which is, if you remember, what we are sending in our capture. This thing, right? We are sending the request. I'm going to go a little more. Yeah, we're doing this request response timing. That is what we see over here, right? So that's what we have. And then, so instead of having a Saturday value or a a wrapper type, I wanted to have specific types so that I have some stuff that I can work with when I create metrics and all, right? So I have hard request. This is pretty self-explanatory. Saturday is amazing as always, right? And then I have hard response, which is doing some whatever we got as a response, right? It could be a redirect URL. It could be the content transfer size. Transfer size is the same as content length, I'm guessing. I don't know why it's a separate thing, but okay. Header size. All these things will be metrics, so it's gonna be fun in the end. Okay, so then we have post data, we have post param. Post param sounds weird, but alright. I don't even know why these are different types. Okay, post data makes sense to me. We have mime types. This should have been a enum. Okay, we don't need to model in that much detail, so this is fine. Hard is good. Okay, this is fine. Now let's go to this thing. So I think first of all, there is some stuff. So we are using the open telemetry, this thing. Okay, before I do anything, I want to see if the code even compiles, because I don't know what AI wants to done here. So I'm gonna typo my branch name ml. Alright, and I'm just gonna go to the export ingester, and I'm just gonna do a wrangler def. Okay, I mean, I'm not really expecting anything here, but there could be some magic. Because, okay, of course, UDP socket. What do you want to debug? What have you done, codex? Alright. Okay, stop this. Let's see. I don't see any errors here. I do. I'm not gonna debug this crap. Get the code. Compile. Also, yeah, it's your code, right? Unless I understand the code, I don't even consider it mine. Okay. Actually, never mind. I think it's fine. It'll just, why did I have to do that? It'll just mess something up. Let me just understand what's happening. Okay, so we have set console metrics. Okay, so we have the meter provider. This is right out of the otel Rust box, right? We have the no, that's not this. We opened the right one. I knew you wouldn't open the right one. Gap. So basically, what we end up doing is, must be the example they're using hyper for HTTP. Just hyper. That's cool. That is cool. I should do that. That's more like Go. Yeah. Tower service or something. Oh no, just hyper. That's pretty cool. And you go as low level as possible. It's just fun, right? That way. Yeah. So you have these providers where you do matrix exporter, you configure some endpoint here, similar tracer and logger, right? And you basically have the providers. So I think that's what we've done here. Let me see where they're coming from. Otel RS, right? So let's start with Otel RS. What are we importing? Async trait, of course. Okay. We have some interfaces here, okay. We have some stuff imported from OpenTelemetry. I don't know why we are interfacing with OpenTelemetry HTTP directly, but okay. We have the protocol and other things from OTLP, which is okay. We have the SDK. Yeah, so here's what we got, right? We have the logger provider, meter provider, tracer provider. I'm not exactly sure what resources, but fine. This is Cloudflare stuff, right? Some JS binding you in there. It's basically for conversion between the JS type WASM, right? We are interacting with WASM, right? So we do have to do those type conversions. That's okay. Cool. OTel endpoint is a constant here. I'm gonna remove that because I have some settings that we anyways have compiler, so it's fine. And we come to that. We have a struct, empty struct called worker fetch client. Why do we have that? What are you doing? Okay, never mind. Figure out. Send worker request. What is that even? What are you doing? This I get. So we are basically putting a worker fetch client is our it's an empty struct, but we are implementing HTTP client for it, which we are getting from OpenTelemetry HTTP. Okay, what does this do? A minimal interface for sending requests over HTTP, used primarily for exporting telemetry over HTTP. Also used for fetching sampling strategies for Jaeger remote sampler. Okay, so we're already like sending the matrix straight away. Okay, we should have done gRPC, but okay, let's keep it simple. Okay, this makes sense to me. Why is it called worker fetch client? I don't like the name. This is our telemetry client. Right? Cool. So we are implementing HTTP client for it, and we do send bytes. Send bytes does. Oh, that's why they call it worker send future. Okay. What is that even? Workers send is that dummy send grade in Cloudflare workers, right? There was an unsafe. Yeah, exactly. I remember this code because we looked at Cloudflare workers code last time. They have unsafe trade implementations, sand and sync. But they probably have some custom stuff. Do they have like a whole async runtime implemented? Are you kidding me? Wow. Okay, so I mean, Cloudflare is amazing, but it's not native, so you would have things like this. But this is interesting. This is so interesting. Although they have unsafe cheating code here, but it's actually interesting that they have everything implemented, like clone, farm. It's not everything. I don't think this is runtime. It still uses Tokyo, but they have some. It provides utilities for working with JavaScript types, not implement. Oh, that makes sense. So we are passing around things that don't implement send, which correspond to the WASM JavaScript types, and it has utilities to basically cheat our way out of that. Right? Cool. That makes sense to me. So we have to do this every time we create something that interacts with JavaScript. Okay. Cool. A send worker request again. What are we doing here? So we're interacting with stuff like uint array and JS value and these things, right? That's why. I don't know why this has to be the case though. Hey, by the way, what am I doing? I mean, I don't want to review like this, but I just want to core sync AI draft to be reviewed. Yeah, it's been like years and I haven't set a stream by default thing. Certain things I just never do. No. Alright. It's gonna create a PR for me. Right now there are no PRs in this repo. Let's quickly do that. Please tell me I'm streaming this time. Thank you. I really don't want to go to this again. Alright. I'm just gonna create a no description PR and then we'll have AI. What happened? Ah, text. Codex! Hello there! I really hate things like that. Isn't Codex Rust though? I always face it. What is this? Isn't Codex in Rust? Why does it take so long? And why is it installed with npm? I really don't. Whatever. Add description. Proper. No mistakes. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch to name, and I'm gonna look at PRs. Actually, yeah, sure. I mean, I could do this. I could look at PRs. So this is a PR right here, and the descriptions are gonna come now. But I can just I could open the PR buffer and take a look at stuff. What has go? I'm going to go through my setup someday. So yeah, I think Code Rabbit has done something. Let's wait for this to be done actually. What are you doing? Doesn't GH work? It does. I'm logged in. What are you doing? Okay, fine. Whatever. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to the PRs and what happened there? Break start. I'm just gonna open it in workmarks, which is already open, so it's gonna probably switch to that workmarks for me. No, why would you do that? Why? Okay, fine. In that case, I'm gonna close this guy. Alright, so I think our PR now has some description. What's happening? Alright, what do we have here? Code Rabbit is fine, dude. Give me the summary, dude. He was not able to finish the description. Okay, whatever. Show me this. I'm in the branch road. Show me the diff. Okay. The git config is not up to date. Cool. So this is all that we have here. We have some changes in our JavaScript. We have no changes in our JavaScript. Did I just lose my changes? Fuck. I'm just gonna assume I did not see that. Yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure I. Uh, Sorry for that. I was so excited to show off my Git PR's plugin setup and I lost my changes. I hope uncommitted changes went off. I deleted local to add stuff here. Yeah. And make sure it compiles. What the fuck? What? Oh yeah, sorry. This direct doesn't exist anymore. Oh, we changed something. Oh, so codex lost its history too. How amazing. All in hours. Export minimal /console logs from extension to ingest/log and console and ingest/har endpoints have solid types for it under. Do I at least have that? Do I at least have the? Nope, I lost everything. I lost everything. Everything I lost. Create packages under exporter. Start with spec. Downstream. It's not a proxy, but it's kind of a transformation thing. So I don't know. Just a spec, and then har.rs, console.rs, and then implement open telemetry SDK to send out otel telemetry to a constant variable endpoint. I want to set up settings myself. Okay. Also use from to traits and custom strategies where suitable. Have individual files be not more than 4 to 5 structs or functions long. Right? I don't care how big the functions are. I don't care how big the functions get, but it should just be limited functions so I can understand, right? Structure properly. Bottom line, we receive hard request response timing and console logs. Send otel logs, traces, bracket hard request steps, and metrics from custom metrics. Ideally, I'd want traces and metrics to be okay. Apart from spec, maybe have other meaningful packages. Oh, by the way, under internal, specs under internal too, by the way. um, meaningful packages like packages to define generate metrics, types defined in specs metrics, I guess. Then telemetry package for sending out to otel collectors, and future provision to skip collector and +3. Don't implement this. Make no mistakes. I've never used make no mistakes, but let's go. I never do these kinds of huge prompts, but I kind of exactly knew what I wanted, and also 5.5 is kind of trustworthy to do things if you tell it exactly what to do, and I already did this. I just wanted to show off my config and it uploads the changes. So just to explain what happened. So whenever I create a new workbox, generally what happens is it either uses a local branch, or it creates a new branch, or it fetches the branch from remote, or it creates a new branch to spin off a work tree. But I think there's a bug in my I mean, I'm not gonna get into the details right now, but sorry, yeah, I'm not into details right now, but if I look at my I'm not going to look at it right now. In my vmconf, basically, I think the way I configured workbox to open the PR, like check out the PR and open it in a work tree, I think it always creates a new work tree for the remote. So it did that. And so I was like, alright, I have a new thing, I can get rid of my old one. I went and deleted my old work tree, but I hadn't committed anything in my old work tree because I usually don't commit AI code. So I just lost everything in the last 1 hour. But the good thing is, in a way, that's what AI code is for, right? You basically use it to just experiment, make versions and prototypes, scrap it off and start fresh. That's what coding should look like today, I guess, because we can't be too sad on losing code unless like we wrote the code by hand. But again, if you did that, you know exactly what you need, so you can always like have it generate. But it's a little stochastic, and I don't love that. But yeah. I love codex because it's just decides to use plan mode. It's not like, you know, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Whatever. Alright, so as this is happening, I'm going to check how long our video is. We're already at 43 minutes. I really don't get how this happens. But okay, I hope it does things right. Waiting on it. What branch is this? It hasn't written anything yet, just saying plan mode. I don't know, it's codex, so I have hopes that it'll actually do what I wanted to do, and I won't have to scrap everything. Let's see, dude. Let's see what it does. I think while it's doing that, I don't want to just wait around. Let's watch something. Usually those are separate videos, so it shouldn't be part of Hosho. But I can watch something that's related to Hosho. That's so, no? Open telemetry Raj custom otel PS3 Loki. Loki uses Sparky, I think. and then exactly, right? You begged over to stop using AI and shipped it. Yeah, we could have watched a fashion video though. No, I'm not looking at auto telemetry right now. I know all this. UI. Since when does Tempo have this kind of visualization? It does make things easier, but I know it. Alloy actually replaces everything, and it's actually amazing. I mean, my channel is called Infra.sh, so I should have. It's a play on Infra and Ashu, by the way. But I should actually start making Infra content. I mean, this is kind of Infra content, but it's like a project that I know very few people understand the need for. But yeah, Grafana has some easy content up there, though. Yeah, that's first fashion. Unless this guy's done. Not done. Fashion.
Last week, Anthropic stood on the global stage and begged the world's AI labs to install a coordinated brake pedal on frontier AI development because they're terrified that models are getting dangerously close to recursive self-improvement. But this week, they threw the pause button in the wood chipper and slammed the gas pedal through the floor by releasing the most powerful AI model the world has ever seen. Its name is Claude Fable, a Mythos-class model that's been carefully lobotomized for safe consumption by the average NPC. Despite the guardrails, smart people are calling this their singularity moment, and Fable absolutely embarrasses GPT 5.5 on the Trust Me Bro coding benchmarks. Right now feels like 2003, when Google was overtaking Yahoo as the dominant search engine. And coincidentally, Google's Gemini is like Alta Vista in this analogy. We're living through another iteration of the hype cycle, but is Fable actually legit? Or is it just a move to pump up the numbers before Anthropic goes public? I've been poking it with a stick for the last few hours, and in today's video, we'll find out if Fable is the real deal. It is
our limits are introduced. It doesn't make sense.
June 11th, 2026, and you're watching the Code Report. This week is historic. On Friday, SpaceX will go public, and
I'm not even sure if I have access. I don't care.
New world order will emerge. Fang is
this thing is gonna be crazy.
Long gone. Gay man is dead, and we're about to enter the age of gay manos.
The vine never.
Which is Mexican for gay hands. But Anthropic is the most interesting company with the most interesting logo in this list. And it's interesting that they named one model Mythos, as in myth, and another Fable, which implies that it's
it's all just in the air.
Not real.
I don't give two but I am telling you right now, that mother back there is not real.
It's almost like they're trolling us with these names.
Yeah!
Like that time Neil A. went to the moon, or when Sam Bankman got fried, or when Anthony Weiner showed people his "we don't need to go there," but you get the point. Oh, and a quick side note, Sam Bankman-Fried was an early investor in Anthropic and owned an 8% stake at one point. Had he given up on the crypto grifting and just sat on that investment, he'd be one of the richest people alive right now and not in prison. Hindsight is 2020, but how does Claude Fable differ from Claude Opus 4.8, which was just released a few weeks ago itself? Well, first of all, it's twice as expensive at $50 million per output token, or no, $50 per million output tokens versus $25 for Opus. But another caveat
$50 million per output.
Is that if you have a paid Claude plan right now, you can use Fable until June 22nd, after which point it will be removed and can only be used on a per token basis. That's a genius marketing move to get people FOMO subscribed to Claude, but is it really that much better than Opus? Well, Fable 5 is literally the same
I'm really not expecting. Even Mythos, people were like, the call guy, Cloudflare, they were like, Cloudflare actually had a decent article in read.
underlying model as Mythos 5.
Most of them never really.
The only difference is the muzzle. It has a set of classifier models.
Okay.
Underlying model as Mythos 5. The only difference is the muzzle. It has a set of classifier models that will watch every query you make. And if you wander into cybersecurity, biology, chemistry, or of course,
you can't do it cybersecurity like at all?
model distillation, your request gets nuked and answered by Claude Opus 4.8 instead. And that means Chinese models like DeepSeek and Kimi won't be able to give us a free and open source Fable class model anytime soon. Now, among software engineers, the initial reviews are very positive, but one of the strongest endorsements I've seen comes from the guy who created Bend, a programming language for GPUs. He called this his personal singularity moment.
That's pretty interesting.
After Fable ripped through his code and implemented massive performance improvements. There are many other stories like this, but I was skeptical, so I tried it out for myself. I was recently rejected by Y Combinator trying to get funding for my app Horse Tinder. They said the idea was brilliant, but the UI would never work because horses don't have fingers. Well, let's find out if Fable can create a better UI than a human with 20 minutes of working, I was shocked by the result. I got a pop-up window demanding I pay more money for Fable to finish the job. I felt like I was getting scammed by a developer on Elance, but luckily we could see some of its work in progress. It created this absolutely gorgeous UI, and one of the most impressive things is that the SVG horse actually looks like a horse and not just a bunch of random shapes. AI typically has a hard time generating vector graphics, but all the icons in this UI look great, and it even nailed the Tinder-style drag animation when swiping left or right. It also has some nice creative touches like yay or nay, and even put the word strictly confidential at the bottom to make this app seem special to investors. I'm highly confident this will make YC 2027, especially when combined with Render, the sponsor of today's video. It's a cloud platform for developers that lets you ship production-grade apps and agents without managing infrastructure. That's because it runs your whole stack in one place, with your web services, Postgres, cron jobs, and workers all wired together by default, so you only need to worry about one dashboard and one mental model. You start by just connecting a repo and pushing your code, then Render will build and deploy automatically. It auto-scales with you up to millions of users with a full observability stack built in. And if you're building an AI app, Render Workflows gives you an execution engine that will automatically retry when something fails, so your agents don't crash and burn on a long-running task. Over 6 million developers use Render today, and the first 2,000 people to enter this promo code will get $50 in free credits. This has been the Code Report. Thanks for watching.
Alright. And you are now starting, is it? Alright, let's see what we've got. Cool. So, what do we have? We have internal. This looks clean. This looks better than last time, honestly. Why do you have an error rate? Dude, I have standard error. Welcome to it. But yeah, fine. We have into response implemented. Sure. Okay. I'm going to change this to standard error. I want to separate my changes with AI changes. I want this to be committed. Let it fix the compile. I'll commit all that, and then I'm going to make changes on it myself. Because I don't want to be associated with vibe coding. That's like the worst thing that can happen to me. That's worse than losing my job. Yeah, and I have a really good job, by the way. But yeah, being called a vibe coder is worse. So even though I do all this, I'm going to read every single line of code and I'm going to change every single line of code if I have to. But I'm not. It's just that AI coding agentic engineering has made me lazy. Really lazy. So lazy in fact that I had to start this whole stream just to force myself to sit here and do something. That's how lazy I've gotten. So I'm just gonna, and again, I wouldn't start this from scratch. This is just because I did it once and I knew what to do. So these 2 dens and splitting stuff. Good. Split as much as you want to. I'm gonna understand it later. We are too much into this, aren't we? Dude, give me at least like 15 minutes to go through the code. Are you gonna stop? Why are you? No. Why? Just stop. Okay. So you have this thing. I'm gonna change that. Wait. Images. Core. Type setup and telemetry wiring. Co-authored. Okay, sure. The codex. Doesn't matter. Right. That's pushed. I don't want to do this change again. Why would you do that to me? What is your problem now? Amazing. Git push. Yeah, of course. What do you workmark setup? What is it? What's the issue? That's not the branch. Git checkout -b feed telemetry. Feed exporter. Happy. Those are the simple request. Alright, whatever. Just push. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, cool. Alright, so first of all, to do change to standard. I'll do that. But before I start anything, I need to configure settings. Right, I need settings.rs. Cargo add config. My cargo is to go to this folder first. Sorry, this. Alright. Cargo add settings. Make it bigger. Too big. It's too big. I need music. I keep forgetting sometimes. Whenever I like even a little bit, focused, I forget about music. No. What? No. What did I just do? Alright, so we have lazy static added, config as well. Alright, now I'm going to go to my src, go to lib, I'm going to create a pub mod settings, and we have settings. I'm gonna have a pub, not pub, just a struct called settings, and I'm gonna do a derive. What's going on? Hello? Yeah. What's wrong with you? Why is this happening to me? Let's see. No, stop it. Why is rest analyzer not working? Why is cargo blocked? What? कार्गो क्लीन भी होता है भाई। Libhead settings. What's your issue? song. We're at 1 hour already. I'm at least gonna go 20 more minutes. At least. 5 minutes is gonna be Rust compile. Something's gonna break. 5 minutes gonna be codex to do something. And then I'm gonna think for 5 minutes. And then my computer's gonna be hanged for 5 minutes. Basically. Right? So we'll do a little bit of coding for like a minute or so. Let me set up that. What did I do? Did I quit OBS or something? No. Thank you. I quit my browser. Why did I quit my browser? Things just happen there sometimes. This is such a weird UX. You have start all and started at the same time. Twitch didn't start, by the way. Twitch is directly connected. It's okay. And nobody's watching me here. So it's fine. Rock, macro, this, that. Let's see. So, yeah. Let me fix this. Hello, mister. What is your problem? Are you please going to fuck? I don't get it. Thank you. Finally. Edit music. Something was breaking me, proc micro, it was irritating me. I think my laptop needs a break. Dude, I can code without AI, but I cannot code without an LSP. Are you kidding me? Fine, let's do that. Maybe that's the exercise I need. What's going on? Rust Analyzer is active, right? Then why are you not working? I don't like remember stuff. My laptop is killing me. I really need a new machine. I don't get why it's so slow. What's your problem? And I'm doing OBS and Rust compile at the same time. What am I expecting? But yeah. It's an Intel i7 old Mac, so it does make sense. But okay, at least the LSP is working now. Thank you very much. Man, I have to stop. My laptop doesn't have enough. I don't know what's happening to it, but it's just getting so slow right now. Maybe I have to switch to my Mac to it. I don't know. Maybe that's what I have to do. I don't like to do that. I really do not want to do that. But I missed something, didn't I? Like today? Like every day? Shit doesn't complete. Oh, your DC realized. Where do I specify that type? What's the problem? Alright, let's look at the stuff now. So we have our specs in which we have our har. A har has har capture, har entry, envelope. I don't want this! Last time also I did the same mistake. Update the extension and the har.rs. I only care about request, response, and timing. Forget it. What else we have? Network.rs. What does that even do? Dude, this is so bad. Okay, fine. Whatever. We'll continue in another video. Bye bye, folks.